Hello and welcome to Design Boss Dialogue, the podcast where bold and ambitious women in interior design come for real conversations to transform and take their businesses to new heights. I am your host, Lisa Marie Elkhadraoui, interior designer and business mentor, here to share my experiences and insights into running an interior design business, as well as empowering you to build the confident, profitable design business you've been dreaming of and truly deserve. In this space, we blend creativity with strategy to help you craft your success and thrive in the world of design. Every episode is packed with unfiltered, no BS conversations, daily inspiration, and actionable business tips to turn your passion into a thriving, cash-rich business. Together, we're redefining what it means to succeed in the interior design industry, one intentional, game-changing decision at a time. So get ready to step up, elevate, and create the design empire you've always envisioned. Welcome back. We are opening door 18 on the Christmas Advent Calendar podcast. And today I am joined by another powerhouse in the design space. Some of you will know her from the latest series of Interior Design Masters. She went into the quarterfinals, having had 2 standout spaces. And today Briony joins me to give you her top tips for when it comes to designing spaces. She's an interior designer and stylist, creating earthy, organic, character-filled spaces, featuring vintage treasures, oversized lighting, handmade items, and natural materials. Briony designs with soulful simplicity, making sure you gain as much function from your home as you do beauty, inspiration, and joy. And for nearly 20 years, Briony has worked in retail and design, designing, sourcing, and importing homeware and merchandising home decor from concept through to reality. She has curated the retail experience within multiple bricks and mortar stores, as well as creating a wholesale experience to complement brands, including designing for trade fairs and exhibitions. And today she joins me. We talk about designing with soul. Briony, it is absolutely lovely to have you on today's podcast. Welcome.
Thanks for having me. How exciting.
I know, for the Christmas Advent Calendar podcast. So today is all about interior design and your world as well. Tell us, when did you get into interior design? Where did you first start?
Oh, that's a tough one. We've gone straight in. I don't know. It's really...
I don't mess around.
Yeah, no, don't mess around. You know what? I don't know how to answer it. I feel like, probably part of a bigger story, but I feel like my life has led me to it, maybe without me realizing. Always been a creative, always knew that. Always wanted to make things, change things. Would have like 20 quid and go. There was a shop down the road called Aladdin's Cave that was local to us, and I'd go in there and see what I could grab that would transform the bedroom, you know, for 20 quid and see what you could do. And didn't do a bad job, actually. That Aladdin's Cave was fantastic. Closed now, that's a shame. But I think, like, you know, charity shops and whatever, that's where that all kind of came into me, because, you know, if you know me, you know I'm a massive lover of vintage or thrifting or secondhand if you can, second, third, fourth hand if you can, and kind of what that creates. But yeah, without going on a tangent too much, I feel like I've had a home giftware business for about 20 years. So very much when you go through that, like, design and import process, you go from start to finish. So you go through the whole thing. You have to imagine what someone wants, how they see it, how they visualize that in their space. Obviously, you go through things like photography, how you photograph that, to how that then resonates with someone, so they want to buy it through a screen or in a retail space. So I think naturally that got me obsessed with people's homes and what you have in it and how that all works. And then it was lockdown, and I was doing a distance walk with my friend, and I think my
1 meter away.
Yeah, 1 meter. It was at least 1 meter, and we were doing a little walk. And I think my youngest at the time was about 6 months, and I just said it was one of those, you know, when these things just happen random, don't they? You're just having a chit chat, and she's just one of those friends that we have our deep and meaningfuls. And I was like, I think I just want to kind of leave that to like one side, like kind of what I've been doing, what I know, you know, and what I love and still love, and just want to go at interior design, like just do that, like just by me. And she was like, "Come do my house." I was like, Yeah, okay. And that's literally where it started. And something from that, because I remember that walk vividly. I remember that moment vividly. And you have these moments in life. Something shifted, and I was like, this is a bit of me. And I did it. I had a 6 month that we were still in lockdown, obviously, when we were allowed into houses, and I sort of planned it outside and did it in piecemeal, and took on they've got a beautiful home, took on one of their largest rooms first, of course, and
straight in the deep end,
and just realized that everything I had done creatively, understanding textures, materials, layouts, function, form, whatever it is, amalgamated to that, and fell in love. Absolutely fell in love.
I love that. And
a bit of a long-winded answer, but
no, I really love that. And I think sometimes, when we have these beautiful passions and we have these epiphany breakthrough moments, it's like, well, actually, let me have a go at this. Let me do this. And I think having a really strong creative backbone as well, having that flair and passion, and when you actually get your teeth into it, really, really nice. I love that. Yeah. So with regards to obviously going into interior design and getting your teeth stuck into projects, now I know you've got a lovely piece of value to share with all of our lovely listeners, but how do you approach your projects?
Everyone, I would say, is slightly different, right? Because no two people are the same, no two projects are the same, which is why I feel like that it's always really hard to answer. I find everything hard to answer in a really straightforward way, don't I? But I tend to approach it by, I do offer an e-design as a service. I will say I do like virtual consultations, in-person consultation, e-design, full design. However, when it comes to e-design, I don't do that much of them because I'm very much a look, feel, grab kind of person. Like I would rather just I'm an all-in kind of gal. Yeah. So I definitely would say I approach it in that form. And I love walking into a space and noticing the value and finding all of the things I would lean into, seeing the things I would keep, seeing the things I can work with, before just going, change it and we'll do this and we'll do this. It's actually really nice to lean into the beauty of the building or the facility that you are in. I'd say that's probably like my number one thing that I do, in amongst, of course, just having a really nice chit chat with the owner or the client, whoever it may be, who wants this thing, space, property transformed. Yeah, questions, a good old chat, and just seeing what you can keep, seeing the beauty of what is already there.
And I suppose that links quite nicely to what you shared with us before the recording and with Courtney, is you always approach every design with soul. So that ties in gorgeous because you bring lots of soulfulness to your designs. Talk to me about that particular tip there, always designing with soul, and what that means to you.
I feel like, to me, design is just so much more than creating something that looks pretty, making something look beautiful. I like to think I create really lived in spaces that have a feeling. So you walk in and it is always more than a look. And hopefully that can translate through a screen as well. I think to create that, there's a number of things you can do. But that's why I say, like, starting with a chit chat with a client, getting to know someone, asking them questions. And sometimes I caveat and I say, listen, you might think I'm being a bit nosy. You might think I'm like going right off a tangent here, but getting to know someone, you then get all these little tidbits of what they love, why they love the things they love, why they love that object, why they've got that really bizarre thing over in the corner there, or why they're really drawn to a certain colour. You find out things about people that they may not necessarily realise themselves. You may be able to draw out something that they didn't realise, and then you're able as a designer to create something that they didn't even know they needed. But that's the thing that's going to create this heartfelt soul in their home or in their commercial space. And it draws it out. I think obviously leaning into the client can create a ton of soul. But as I say, I'm kind of known for bringing in the vintage, the second, third, fourth hand, loving things back to life. I kind of like to see it. Not only is it like, I mean, it's got a ton of advantages, right? Great for the environment. Normally, kind of a great cost as well. Great cost and time saver. Normally, my jumping off piece as well. So, in design, you'll generally have a piece or an item or a colour or something that inspires you or inspires the client, and you're like, that's what we're going to work with.
That's what we're going to go with.
Yeah. And it's 9 times out of 10, it's like a really cool old antique or object or thing. And it's like, could be a bit random. And those things create the soul. Those things, if you then use that and you keep using that almost as your Pinterest board, almost as your jumping off point, keep referencing back through the mist and the chaos when the walls are plaster and there's holes and, the floors up
everywhere.
Yes, yeah. When it's all in the mist, if you look at that object, you kind of keep straight. There's simplicity in it. There's soul in it. And then your end product ends with this amplified version of the thing that you originally started with that brought you so much love in the first place.
I love that. And it's true, like having that kind of grounded vision of, always designing with soul and finding that one kind of key piece. Even though you have that same kind of thought process per project, but every project is so different because you're working with so many beautiful different clients and different pieces and that turn into like beautiful different looks as well. So with that, always designing with soul and obviously getting to know your clients and stuff, how different was that with your experience with Interior Design Masters and the projects you had to go into and the turnaround? Because obviously you naturally didn't really have like 2 people or a husband and wife or, girlfriends to talk to get a brief. So what was that experience like?
Yeah, you see me smirking already. Quite different. Quite different. That was the challenge, yeah, because I don't know if we've all noticed, but I'm a bit of a talker. So I do like to chat and have a chat with people and like get to know them. And it's honestly like, I've been in retail my whole life. So that's my funnest thing to do is to chat in the shop, chat to people, get to know them. So we did, I will say, on Interior Design Masters, get like really, really super detailed briefs. You get all of the dimensions and floor plans. You get all of that. You don't necessarily get too much of a brief of a client, but I think that's the whole point of the show, is that it leans into you being able to showcase you in some way. Every week very different, but you literally, it's a week on, week off. So you get the design, you get a week to come up with the plan, buy all of the things, put it all in the van, and then you drive yourself there, and then you do it in the 2 days. And that's real. You do it in the 2 days. I would say the approach is chaos. My approach was to, in the same way, find a jumping off point. I would find that actually really helped me try and stay on track, because you have to move quick. I am known, the girls in the shops that we used to have 8 bricks and mortar stores. The girls in the shop used to call me a whirlwind, because I do come in and I do move fast, but I'm just kind of, I'm like your forever hype girl. I'm quite energetic. So by nature, Interior Design Masters and its fast pace did suit me in that way. You have to make really quick decisions, but I would say I do make quick decisions in real life, because I think the quick decisions 9 times out of 10, and if you're channeling it in the right way, it's your gut instinct, and it's your gut instinct that you want to lean into for the feel and the soul. And then you sometimes have to take a step back, make sure you're getting the form and the function that you want to get, and the overall, livability of that space, which, Michelle is on. She is on that as well. So all of that form function is right up there to her. So I think it's a real, you get less time to process, you get less time to do it in a structured way. But being honest, Lisa, I'm not massively structured. I'm not.
You like to feel it and just go with it and embrace it and just literally
I just think if you're too, I heard a saying that Quincy Jones used to say he would go into the recording studio, 90% he would have it down. He knew exactly what he was going in for. He knew how he was going to sound. He knew the notes he was going to hit, and he left 10% up to the gods. And I'm like, that's, some days I'm maybe 80-20, I won't lie, but I feel like I have a really, really good idea of where I'm going and where I'm going to get there. But I try to, which I think is a real benefit in interior design, be fluid about the process. What comes first, what goes last, what you fit in the middle. People are like, oh, well, you always want to put the flooring in before you paint the walls. You want to paint the walls before you put the flooring in. I'm like, listen, if you're a floorer, then you're probably going to think differently to the decorator. If you're a decorator, you're going to think different. So there's no wrong or right. And so I think being fluid is the best way forward. And interior design masters, wow, did you have to just go with it? You had to go with it, trust your gut instinct. So yeah, different, but a bit same, but different, if you get what I mean. I think I lent in.
I love the fast-paced nature of the show, because sometimes in the real world, we have both ends of the spectrum. We have projects that can be really, really fast-paced, and then we've also got projects which, you know, do take time, like big renovations. You might be on them for 6 or 18 months, and there's obviously, you know, there is a time-pace element. But I think I love the way you touched upon being fluid and that whirlwind approach, and just, you know, leaning in and really trusting your gut, because I think a lot of it is, I meet so many women that have so much self-doubt about themselves, in the design space of what they design. And actually, I'm like, lean into your gut more. If this feels really, really right and you can feel it in your gut, just go with it. Don't overthink it. And I think that's a really great intuition to have, isn't it?
Oh yeah, 100%. And I will say, throughout interior design masters, the imposter syndrome is real. It is real, because you are up against, even though, much to probably Michelle's disdain, we all loved each other, but we're all there. There's, you know, the 10 of us, and we're all quite different. Some of us overlap in different ways, but we're all quite different. And we would get exactly the same brief, but then we would come up with these completely different schemes. And we're like, what? It literally blew my mind that every week it would look so different. I'm like, but we had it exactly the same. It's just fascinating, isn't it? And that is I mean, I'll say it loud and I'll say it proud. There is no wrong or right in interior design. There is just what you like, especially when it comes to, if it's your property. So you can't possibly get it wrong in that sense, which, you know, I know there's a lot of irony in me saying that, because I've just, you know, come off the back of a competition where literally someone would be like, this is wrong and this is right. But she didn't even really do that, because it's way more complicated than that. There are layers to what you can do, and structural things and foundationally that will be maybe correct to do. But in terms of the color that you use, the textures that you use, there'll be a right for me, and that could be totally different for what you would love in your home. You know, you get minimalists, you get maximalists. I've gone on such a tangent, haven't I?
I love it. And I think it's, you know, we were talking about the fact that there can be levels of self-doubt and imposter syndrome, and those briefs, you know, someone can have a completely different brief, or same brief, and someone can have a completely different output. And that's what I love, and nurturing women to, you know, to support them with that. So if you were talking to someone that was starting out in the industry, that was maybe at the beginning of their journey, what would your top tip be for them that were listening in 2026 and thinking, oh, I'm going to go into interior design?
Say, there's a lot of noise out there, and you got to just try and listen to your own noise. Everyone is different. That's a fantastic thing. That's what makes the world so brilliant. So trust your gut instinct, but to find your gut instinct, because I've said that a lot, and people are like, oh, still don't quite get it. I'm like, I have a really great now gut instinct, because I've spent years doing these creative things, which, as I say, have now led me to a place where I feel so lucky that I can walk into a space and go, oh, it needs to be this, that needs to be there, we need this, something over there. And it's like, it's immediate. I quickly jot it down in a very scrappy notebook, and then I go away and come back, and it's wonderment. So I think however you want to do it, whatever sits right with you, it might be that you are fantastic on AutoCAD or SketchUp, or it might be that you're great with a pen and a notebook, and that's either one of those is absolutely fine. But just fully lean into you and own exactly who you are, because it takes all kinds of people in the world anyway. So why not showcase what you've got? If you've got a unique history, we've each got our own unique loves and historical things that make us who we are. lean into that, because that's so long as you just keep showcasing, you just keep showing up. The only people that fail are the people that stop, in my opinion. So just keep moving.
Yeah, I love that. And we had someone else on the podcast earlier on, and he was saying, you know, be really real and authentic with your brand and your business. And as long as you're real and authentic with the brand and the business, your internal light shines through. And I think that's so much with interior design as well, which you've just said, because, you know, we will all have our own gorgeous, unique flares of how we want to put textures together and colours and all beautiful things, and that is so lovely. I love that. So with regards to colours and textures, is there like go-to places that you love to go where like you just love to shop and find little things?
Oh, I am in an antique centre or a charity shop pretty much every day, and I'm not exaggerating. And that's always been my life. It's like my happy place. If where you have design days and you are sat in front of a screen, and it's like it's not naturally me really to like sit in front of a screen all day. It flattens you, doesn't it, really?
Yeah.
I want to go and be inspired by something, and I would often find, actually jumping back to the interior design masters stuff, I could have an idea of what I wanted to do, but it never really came to life, or I shaped it or completely changed it in some cases 2 days before by seeing something else and going, oh no, that's it, because you feel it in a different way. So for me, going to antique centres and seeing old things and patinaed things and bashed up things are the perfect place to go to start. I mean, if you can, go to the big fairs and you spend a day of it, then it's just glorious, isn't it? But I think you find gems, and it's gems that then you end up designing the whole thing around. So any antique fair, but honestly, just your normal high street charity shops as well for fabrics. And, I've turned shirts and reupholstered with them and done chair covers, and you can be inspired by anything anywhere. You don't need to go to these massive antique fairs if that's not accessible to you. You can literally pop into your local, whatever it may be, Emmaus, Hospice in the Weald, Oxfam, like they're all great and do so much good as well. So I'm a huge, huge advocate. And then I always say, beyond that, and I will say that's 9 times out of 10, that's absolutely where I start. Beyond that, I always say there's a mix of high and low. You'll always have a mix of high and low spend. And I used to play games on my Instagram where I would get people to guess in little polls what was the high price. Do a picture and I'd be like, what in this picture, can you see high price or low? No one ever got it right. Ever got it right. You can never tell what's expensive and what was a bargain if you put it in right. You do not need to have a room filled with, even if people have the budget, some people are coming, have no budget for things. They're like, you do you. And you're like, okay, I'm still not going to go and spend thousands of pounds on something that I could go there and get it for 20 quid. I'm just not going to. It's not in me. I also think it feels better to mix it. I just think it doesn't need to be. Also, you want your home, even if it's a commercial space, it needs to feel comfortable. Like there's nothing worse. You see these gorgeous hotels that are just all marble or brass, and you walk in, you think, oh, I don't want to touch anything. I'm never going to be me. I'm never going to design something like that. They look stunning, but I just think if it needs to be a little bit lived in, make it a high and low spend. So there's no one place that I go to. It will be more about the textures that I can grab, just being really textural things, organic things, linens, cottons, anything that feels fantastic. And again, mixing that. So I mix the rough with the smooth. So rather than going to a particular place, if I've found this gorgeously patinaed, like my dining table that's here is really bashed up and old, and what a find it was. I can't remember how much it was, about 40 quid or something. It's an 8-seater. It's humongous and it's gorgeous. And I just treat it every now and then to a little bit of an oil. Then it means that my walls can be, because we actually live in a rented property, and although they're very good, they let me do a lot of things, but I can just paint the walls in one block flat matte colour, and then my patinaed roughed up table looks fantastic next to it. So it's less about where I go, more about the pieces and the blend of them. but
and
lean
how
into
you
the
put them
places that you
together.
already love. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. And that was and still is such an ethos in our company as well. We always say we mix luxury with less. And we have a blend, because I think you're so right. It's about understanding, okay, so if there is a budget, you don't have to spend the whole budget. It's how you blend pieces together to bring heart and soul into the space, and also what it means for you and for the client, and what feels really, really good. And like you say, you just find that one piece, or you think, okay, that's the starting point. That's a great price. Now we could do a little bit of that, introduce a little bit over there. That could look really good. We'll put these textures together, find a little something, even like a little piping or a little trim on a cushion that, you know, you've picked the fabric up for, I don't know, £7 a metre, and then you've got this beautiful little piping detail. I absolutely love stuff like that. And I know so many of the listeners will be listening going, yes, that is what I love too, which is great.
Yeah,
I think it adds so much character and soul, doesn't it, to projects?
Yeah, 100%. It's all about how you layer it up. Find those pieces and then just keep layering on top of that. And I think when you're not in a interior design masters kind of situation, you have time to like curate things and feel how it feels, and fiddle with it a bit, move things about, and get the orientation correct. But 9 times out of 10, I find that people put it, your first instinct is the correct one. So if you walk into any shop, and you fall in love with something, and it almost, I say, if I start making, sounds a bit wrong, but if I start making noises, you're in the right place, because I kind of lose words and I'm like, and it's that's going to be a great noise in a podcast, isn't it? But it's like noise. If you make some strange noises, if you hear that and you're around me, then you kind of know that something great's happening. Like I found something that looks glorious.
Are you a toucher? Do you go in and touch?
Oh yeah,
you tactile?
Yeah, you've got to touch things, haven't you? You've got to, Actually, I notice it, and our sons are hilarious, because we're like quite a creative family. My partner did the business with me for 20 years, in terms of our home and giftware business. So our sons now walk around and they touch things. And we've got a 5-year-old went to a Christmas fair the other day, and he went, "Oh, that baubles got lovely detail, Mum."
You're like,
I was like,
I'm so proud of you.
Yeah, I was like, who heard that? Who heard that here?
Excuse me, can you say a bit louder for the people at the back?
Yeah. Well, so, and they were like, the boys were like, or children do, right? Children will hold cuddly bears up against their face.
Yeah.
I think, when do we lose this? When do we lose like wanting to? It's the same as me making squealy noises. It's the same. You need to fall in love with something. You need to touch it. You need to feel it. Which is why I say, for me, although I have done some e-design, really, I'm all about just getting involved. Just, I'll be painting. I'll be doing whatever. Just get yourself involved and you feel it a bit more.
I love that. And I'm the exact same. I will go into shops and I will really want to touch and look and feel. And actually, my youngest, who's 3, he turns around to me now and goes, "Mummy, no touching. Don't touch." And I'm like, "Oh, Luke, you can touch this, but no breaking. No breaking." And I'm like, oh God, he clearly hears me say that maybe a bit too much when he's in a ceramic shop. And I'm like, oh,
the classic. I mean, as I say, I did have retail stores, so I also am that person that heard all day, every day, look with your eyes, not your hands. So, but as an adult, as long as you're touching appropriately all the product, then that's fine.
So obviously, I have to ask this question. Out of all the projects you've done to date, whether it's in Interior Design Masters or Clients Project, what's your favourite project been?
Oh, gosh.
Or one that's just been like the double chef's kiss, pièce de la résistance?
Oh my goodness. No, that's like choosing from children though, isn't it?
You have a favourite?
I absolutely don't. No. Gosh, there are certain ones obviously that stand out. I will say, on Interior Design Masters, I loved something about every week, but week 3 which was apartment week, which I did with the gloriously talented Craig, was just an absolute triumph from start to finish. And I think it was just, we had to amalgamate. You take Craig, in case, someone's lived under a rock and doesn't know, the glorious Craig is this wonderful, colourful maximalist. And then you've got me. And I'm not a minimalist, but I'm very simplified, neutral, organic, earthy tones. And I think they paired us together because they were like, okay, let's see what you're going to come up with. We come from a similar background, Craig and I, in terms of what we do. So we sat down day one, had this chat, and we were like, okay. And we both, again, found the jumping off point. We both found this sofa that we loved. And it was this bright green velvet sofa, very unlike me, way more Craig. But the sofa was going to go in the living room, which was my portion of the apartment that we were doing up. And we just spitballed from there. I could talk for ages, obviously it's me, but we spitballed from there, and we ended up really, really creating a space that was a 50-50 of Craig and I. And I still don't really know how we did it. I certainly don't know how we did it in a week. I certainly don't know how we did it when you layer on top that we had to order furniture that arrived on site and had to arrive in a certain hour's window, I will say, as well. And we still smashed it. And we won that week. We got standout space, and something in that week clicked to me that I was like, I fully lent in to who I was, but then also pushed that colourful boundary that I hadn't explored before. And that was chef's kiss. So that was that's interior design masters. But I would, in real life, truly, truly, truly love everyone and every project. Anyone who's ever trusted me with their home, I'm overwhelmed every time someone goes, yeah, I choose you. Yeah, you do it. I'm like, okay, thank you. Yeah, okay. And then you do it, and it's I know I can do it, but you have this panic, and you're like, this person's put their full trust, sometimes their life savings, and then you have to create, and it always works out. And I don't know how it does, but it's always just this gorgeous story. But if I absolutely had to pick, I would have to pick my gorgeous friend that originally said to me, oh, come do my house. With that nonchalance, it was yeah, come do it. I was like,
come along and do the house.
Obviously she knew, my design background. She knew who I was. She'd seen my home. But then I transformed her bedroom, and I know that I did it, but I was overwhelmed at the end. I was like, this is special. And it felt special, and probably felt more special because it was her and the trust that she'd given in me, and probably because that was the very first. I've still got it as my laptop screensaver now, their bedroom. And I still love it. I'd still do exactly the same thing now as well.
I love that. Oh, thank you so much, Briony. It's been so lovely to have you on today's podcast, leaning into all of your tips and words of wisdom and your value.
Thank you. It's been so fun. Gorgeous. Sorry, I'm such a talker. I think we've only done about 4 questions.
No, it's absolutely fine. It's lovely. It's really good. And thank you so much for obviously, giving the listeners that tip of always design with soul, lead with your guts, and lead into what feels right. Which is good.
Always see what you can save. Walk into the space, see what you can save first, see what you can work with, pick out the beauty of the building for sure.
I love that. Thank you so much. And Briony's details will be in the show notes. Please do go follow her and jump into Briony's world. And I will be back again tomorrow with another inspirational podcast. Take care. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Design Boss Dialogue. If you love what you heard, then please share the podcast with your friends and any women that could do with a dose of empowerment just from me. I would love to hear your thoughts around today's podcast with your key takeaways and wins, because your feedback means everything to me. Also, don't forget to leave a review as well as hit that follow button so you never miss out on any inspiring conversations with me or any other trailblazing women I have on. Stay tuned for more exciting episodes, and remember, unleashing your inner design power and unlocking your true potential is only a click away. See you next time.